Time for a new tutorial, the Sleepy Pants by Lowland Kids. Here are all the pieces for the Sleepy Pants. It's honestly very simple. If you're doing cuffs, then there will also be cuffs involved, but I'm not doing that part. You need 4 parts of the pockets, the elastic, the front and back pieces. Now, to make it easier on myself, because the front and back are so similar, I marked in the corner of each one. Let's see, I guess there's this corner. A B or an F, so that I could easily keep track of which one's which, so that I don't get mixed up when I'm at the sewing machine, because they are so similar. I think that's the #1 thing to be aware of, as well as don't forget to mark where the pocket placement should be on each one. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first step is to pair up a front and a back piece, and I like to line them up side by side because we're going to be placing the pockets, and I want to make sure that they are lined up. So when we go to sew it together, it'll match up nicely. So just use your notches to make sure you have them in the right place. And I will be keeping these together in pairs just so that I know that those pockets will always match up nicely. So yeah, take a front piece, a back piece, put in the pockets right sides together. And then I'm going to be serging it, just even starting at the very top and going down until it's the end of the pocket. After your pockets are attached to all 4 pieces, then we're going to be placing the legs right sides together, a front piece and a back piece. The same ones that we matched up initially, so that we know the pocket will easily match up. And I'm going to show you at the serger what this looks like, because there are some curves along the way, but you will just be going from the top all the way around the pocket down to the bottom of the ankle, and then you're also going to be doing that crotch seam, or I guess it's the inseam, from the crotch all the way down to the ankle again, leaving that top part open. It's not going to match up perfectly, as you can see. It's not supposed to. They're different pieces, they're different sizes. This is how it's meant to fit. And as promised, I'm going to give you a detailed look of how I go around the pocket. I take it nice and slow. As I get close to the pocket, I make sure everything's lined up. And as soon as I'm reaching the knife, I rotate. So this is the part where I go slow enough so I don't cut into the pocket. And then sew right around it. We'll speed that part up a little bit. Now, same thing as we reach this bottom curve. This one is a little bit trickier just because I think it is easy to cut into the pants. So as soon as you reach that point, quickly rotate. Sometimes I will even lift the presser foot if it helps me. And then just place everything right sides together and go ahead and finish sewing that together. As always, if you're not using a serger, just use some type of stretch stitch. I usually do a zigzag, and when I do that, I usually lengthen it to about a 2. Here is what the completed legs should look like. Each of them are done. Now I'm going to turn one of them right side out, and then I'll be putting that one inside of the other. Just making sure that they are right sides together. And then the next part we're going to sew is the top of here. This kind of U shape. It's technically the crotch from the belly button all the way down around to the back. And you'll want to make sure that the seams are lining up in the middle. And yeah, I'll just be serging that. Sometimes people like to reinforce that middle seam kind of crotch area because it does get a lot of tension, especially with kids. They just pull and stretch on their clothes a lot. So I did go over mine a second time in that middle area just in case. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to be hemming the ankles, like the bottom of the pants as well. If you have a cuff, then you'll want to apply those at this time. All right, they are looking great. Almost done here. Just to show you, everything is sewn, and there is the hemmed part. These pants are kind of meant to be rolled up, and it's a really cute look. Last thing is to attach the waistband or the elastic to the waistband. So sew it together so that it's in a circle using a zigzag stitch, and then I am quartering the pieces, finding the 4 even parts, and then I'm going to match those up to the 4 seams at the waist. When I take this to the serger, I will be disengaging the knife, so I'm going to go ahead and trim all of my things now because that won't be happening at the serger later. So the whole time you're just going to sew all the way around. You'll need to be stretching the elastic as you sew, but not stretching the fabric. So what that looks like is, this is me first just kind of getting my needle under there, getting the fabric, I guess, under my needle. And then I'm readjusting the view so you can see better how I stretch the elastic and I pull it so that the fabric is flat. I'm not stretching the fabric at all, just pulling it so that it's flat. And this does take some getting used to and practice. If you noticed, I usually have, okay, so first I'm stretching out to find a good marking spot to put my fingers on. I sew until there, and then I go to the next section. So just as much as my hands can handle. But I always use my left hand in the back to help stretch the elastic and then ease it along, because if you're only pulling from the front, then your elastic will pop out and smack you in the face, essentially. So just take your time, take it easy. I'm always trying to make sure that my fabric is right in line with the elastic, since nothing's being trimmed off since I disengaged my knife. So as soon as that is sewn all the way around, all you're going to do is take your elastic, fold it down, and now we're going to top stitch. I'm using my cover stitch machine. If you do not have a cover stitch, you can use a double needle and it works great. My main advice for a top stitch, or sorry, for a cover stitch, or any top stitching that you're doing, is once again, take it easy, because you do need to stretch it again so that everything's flat. If you don't want to get any type of puckering, then you need to make sure that you're always pulling your fabric off to the side so that it's straight and it's not pulling sideways at all. And then do that same thing where you're holding the elastic in the back to kind of stabilize it while you're stretching that front portion till the fabric is flat. So you're only stretching the elastic. And then do your best to be very mindful of your seam allowance, that it stays even all the way across, since this is a top stitch. It's going to show you want your waistband to look good. And once you're done, go ahead and tie it off to secure it. And here is the end product. It's a really cute, kind of a loose, but still fitted, I don't know, really cute pants. My daughter loves them. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions, be sure to just comment below. And otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Bye.